Antony Martial has exposed the mistreatment he suffered under Gunnar Solskjaer and Jose Mourinho, and more importantly, demonstrated to us again the inept running of this football club under the Glazer ownership, playing through injuries, not being able to accelerate, ignored, lied to. His career left in tatters in many, many ways, with the fan base turning against him. Player FC being allowed to ensue, player power developing strength as people scramble to save their own careers as opposed to pulling together as a unit. Manchester United has been a massive mess. Things are starting to improve under Erik ten Hag, absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever. However, the fans have to come together here and push back very, very hard against the poor ownership, and not just focus on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's name or Jose's name, or say, I was right, my star boy wasn't the problem. Because that is exactly what the Glazers want. They want you not seeking the real truth and the real reasons why Man United are an absolute joke. Marcel here states that over the last 2 seasons, I have regularly played injured. People know that, and I couldn't accelerate during 4 months following the COVID season. Solskjaer told me that he needed me, so I played. Given my game, if I can't accelerate, it becomes very complicated and I get set on fire. The coach never bothered to tell the media. Obviously, I ended up getting injured too heavily. When I came back, finished. I didn't play anymore. I don't play anymore, is what he told French Football. And this is very, very telling. This is very, very telling because him being... I've got 2 thoughts on this. I think a lot of athletes play, compete, fight, race, whatever their sport is, with injuries, minor injuries, sore back. Got to take some painkillers because I've got a bad toe, sprained my finger. I've got a slight creak in the neck. Not being able to accelerate is a major injury, in my opinion, and one that could lead to further issues. Equally, so if you can't accelerate, a player like Martial that goes off the shoulder, a player like Martial that likes to dribble at players, and when he beats them, he has to be able to accelerate past them. You're taking away 2 of his most important tools, meaning he's not going to get into the positions regularly enough. He's not going to beat his man. And ironically, one of the issues I had in terms of watching Martial was, why is he not beating anybody? Why is he not running at anybody anymore? Now we have the answer. He physically wasn't able to do it. Subsequently, we saw his form dip. We saw him eventually went out of the football club. He went out on loan. And even that didn't work out too well for him. And who's surprised? Confidence shattered, body shattered, mentality in pieces. And another player that Manchester United under Glazer rule have destroyed. And he isn't the only one. And as per Mark Goldbridge's tweet here, Martial coming out and saying Ollie played him injured. He's not been fit for 2 years. Rashford picked up injuries too. Shame 2 young talents were never protected. And this is very, very true. And I didn't want to plagiarize what Goldbridge has said by just repeating the same thing. It's not really how I like to operate. And he's right. Rashford also suffered with this along with Martial. And instead of the fan base coming together and saying, hang on, remember this, by the way, Rashford was blamed for playing injured. Rashford spoke out sooner about it and was attacked for doing so. And I wasn't very happy with him coming out and speaking about it as well. And I have to hold my hands up and say I was wrong there. I got that element wrong. But Rashford was attacked for saying that he was playing with injuries. We're now praising Martial for doing exactly the same thing. And here lies one of the biggest problems, is Player FC at Man United, which is, for me, one of the side effects or maybe even causes in many ways of player power. Players thinking they're bigger than they are. And we need to stop this, because one can't be praised for calling out the injuries that he played with, and the other can't be told, well, that's not an excuse, you just trash anyway. And I'm not defending Rashford and attacking Martial, because it's neither of their faults. So don't twist my words into, he's going at Martial. I'm not. This is the problem. They're both being treated the same way. Both of them saw their form diminish. Both of them faded away from the 2 brilliant players they were in previous seasons. But instead of the fan base coming together and asking, why is this happening, questioning the management, and then in turn focusing on why that management was given more resource, more time, and longer contracts, we just focus on attacking. Martial FC were attacking Rashford, and Rashford FC were attacking Martial. Divide and conquer, a very simplistic technique employed here. And in fact, we still ended up in the same situation, becoming the worst Premier League team in Man United's history. Now, when it comes to Antony Martial, what we also saw is him speak about Jose Mourinho taking his shirt number away, asking him to take the number 11. He told him no. And subsequently, Jose Mourinho did it behind his back. And the reason I think this is also important is because it shows how badly run the football club is. Now, Man United fans can stand there and say, "Oh, loads of players play injured," or "It's only a shirt number." It isn't just a shirt number. It isn't just playing a player injured. It's the lack of protection. It's going behind their back. It's not developing trust and respect. All these things over time will erode the way players feel about the managers in a dressing room. It will erode it. And player power is something that I don't agree with. But once players lose trust in their management, once they think there's no further way forward for us, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Whether it's too aggressive, it's too the manager's too domineering, he's rude and nasty, he speaks about us badly in public, which was more the Jose end, the way he spoke about Shaw, the way he spoke about Martial, the way he spoke about Rashford was wrong. Now, ironically, again, fans play a part in that because when Martial was spoken poorly about, Man United fans who didn't like Martial endorsed the manager. When he spoke badly about Luke Shaw, people that don't like Luke Shaw endorsed the manager instead of having their own moral standards, irrespective of the target of the manager that day. And then you've got the Ollie side of things, arm around the shoulder, telling the players how much he loved and respected them, but making them, he made them run for a lot of brick walls. But in the end, these players ended up being hurt. And then when they were hurt, he didn't give them the time to rest. And instead of explaining to everybody, listen, Martial's going to take some time out. He's got some injuries. We need him back fully fit. He's been working so hard for us. He just can't do it anymore physically. We're fully supportive of him and giving him that time out. He was subsequently hung out to dry. Rashford the same. Pogba the same. And we don't quite know who the other 5, 6, 7 players are. It's recently come out that Harry Maguire played through long-term injury. Lindelof played through long-term injury. So there's a lack of investment. The squad being big enough rotation by the manager. We also saw subsequently that Bruno Fernandes was run into the ground by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We all saw these things and called them out at the time. However, fans played a really important part in this in terms of it not being fully exposed. Because instead of going, oh, you know what? I'm not Bruno's biggest fan, but can you clearly not see he's been run into the ground? I'm not Martial's biggest fan, but can you clearly not see that maybe he, like Rashford and like Bruno, has been overplayed and he's injured and he's got issues? No. When it was players we liked, we focused on the injuries or too much time on the pitch, that we gave an excuse for their bad performances. When it was a player we disliked, it was no attitude, behavior, quality isn't there. And we're still doing it now. We're still doing it now. There are still people that are angry that Erik ten Hag is picking and favouring Rashford and McTominay and Bruno over their favourite players. Can't we see that this mentality is the reason why the one true problem at Man United have got away with this for so long? The Glazers get away with things because the fan base are not united in trying to get them out. And we have been told this stuff about the Glazers in the past. You see what he said there? And the reason I say the Glazers, bear with me, 5, 6, 7 players and me, not just 5, 6, 7, including me and me, playing through injury all season long. When I say this is a call to the Glazers, Martial and Rashford and Pogba, these guys can't speak about the ownership of the club. It's in their contracts. They cannot and will not do it. What happened at Man United just after this situation? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was given a new deal. After Jose Mourinho had massive fallings out with Paul Pogba and Antony Martial and was subsequently told he wasn't able to sell them, what did they do with Jose Mourinho? They gave him a new goddamn deal. The message this sends to the dressing room is loud and clear. We don't care about any of you, really. We know there's problems. We know you're all hurt. We know that you're being disrespected publicly. We know that you're not happy with the way things are going at management level, at coaching level at the club. But instead of listening and doing our due diligence and making the right decision to improve the team, we're just going to do the easy, cheaper option and keep this manager in charge. And there is correlation with there's causation and correlation here working together. And I'll tell you this why. Both subsequent seasons after those managers were given new deals, it all fell apart and ended very, very quickly. And that's because the players decided, I can't do this anymore. Now, you may agree or disagree with players downing those tools, and I don't like that. but we have to look at why they down tools. Some will say, but in protest against the managers. Yeah, they do. And that's the sort of the side effect, as you were. Like if you have a brain tumor, you get headaches, your vision can be impaired, you can get dizzy spells, as an example. But they're not the issue. The way Ollie and Jose operated were symptoms of the Man United problem. The way the players behave are symptoms of the Man United problem. The problem at Man United is the Glazers and how we are run, because these two managers should never have been given new deals. Player power should be wiped out, but one of the ways you do it is by running the club properly, by having the highest possible standards, and not just if you qualify for the Champions League, you keep your job, because the bar's too low. It should also be based on how you're treating your players, how you're managing things. What do you mean? He's running some of our best talent into the ground where they can't accelerate anymore. That's not good management, irrespective of winning trophies or not. So when it comes down to this situation, Player FC has got to go, because Player FC murkies the waters. Player FC stops you from seeing the nose upon the end of your face. It makes you focus on Martial versus Rashford and not how are we running this football club. It makes you focus on Ollie in, Ollie out, and not the Glazers and how they're running the football club. And people will say, well, they run it. It's Ed Woodward. They employ Ed Woodward. You can't get the Glazers out of this. I'm glad Antony Martial has finally spoken up and given us the facts that we needed to help us formulate our own opinions. Do I think that the player attitude at times has always been right? No. Do I think that the players at times have been unprofessional? Yes. Do I think they've leaked things they shouldn't have leaked? Yes. But do I think they are also the same as the fans? That the way they perform, the way their careers have gone are a byproduct of how Man United are operated? Absolutely yes. Do I think the players have been let down by this football club? Yes. Now, there's less sympathy for the players than there is fans, because the players have all been made millionaires through playing for Manchester United. But at the same time, the way some of them are treated, and Marcus Rashford and Antony Martial are probably the two sort of poster boys of this, has been a disgrace. So as we move forward under Erik ten Hag, stop crying that Scott McTominay is getting picked ahead of your favorite midfielder. Stop crying that Bruno's been picked over Donny van de Beek. Stop crying about, oh, why is Rashford not playing and Martial's been picked? Focus more on, is the squad being utilized? Is the squad being improved window upon window upon window upon window? Is there enough rotation? Are individual players being run into the ground? Is the team being picked on meritocracy? That should be the focus. The principles should be focused on, as opposed to the individual players in their name or their passport, whether, the nationality they hold, whatever it may be. Are the principles at the club right? Because if the principles are correct, the team will improve. And that's where the fans have to hold the club to account. But if there is infighting and divide and conquer approaches, and listen, I don't care how bad Martial has been, I'm backing him because he's my star boy. All that's going to happen is you're going to murky the waters and not see the real true problem at the football club. And that one true problem has been at this football club the whole time. And that has been the Glazers. And until this club is run better on a more consistent basis, we are never going to improve. You can take Martial and Rashford and McTominay and Pogba and Bruno all the way from this football club, and in 10 years' time, we'll still be exactly where we are now, struggling, if these fundamentals are not improved. But the power, as always, remains with the fans. Drop Player FC, focus on the Glazers only and how they run the football club. And if you do, I promise you this, Man United will get better.